Hey everybody, hope you're having a really great Wednesday. I should tell you guys right from the start that this is my very first Periscope broadcast, so bear with me if you guys see some mistakes, or if you are having trouble hearing me, or having trouble on the video side of things. Just do let me know. I was planning on getting up early this morning, but it was kind of one of these funny things where I was thinking of sleeping in, and my wife, who is 8 months pregnant, was sleeping next to me, and our baby was just kicking up a storm. So what should have been this awesome time to relax just became like, okay, 6:30, I'm up and I'm gonna do it. I think that regardless, we're gonna have some fun today, and hopefully I can share some resume tips that are really going to be of use in terms of especially if you're looking for a job right now and you're sending your resume out there and you're not seeing results. I think this podcast is really going to help. Here's what I see. I've spent about 10 years plus working as a resume writer and a career strategist. I've worked with everyone from CEOs on down, and they all kind of have the same situation where they need to put together a resume that's impactful. And here's a good question, actually. Any reason why HR can ask about SSN? No, you know what? That's kind of out of line for HR, honestly, to be asking that. At some point, I would imagine if they're making you an offer, then probably you're going to have to provide that, on the flip side of that. But if they're asking you that early on in the interview process, there's no reason to ask that. And actually, as a follow-up question to that, talking about what HR can and can't ask you, another one that I get all the time is, people will get, to that first round of the interview, and they'll, get a question like, hey, what were you making at your previous job? I really can't stress this enough. Please do not answer that question. Okay, number one, it's confidential. Number two, any recruiter or HR person can get a broad strokes idea of what you made at your last job by going to Glassdoor or going to a couple of other sites. So the only reason that they might ask you about your salary information, honestly, is to preemptively drive down their initial offer and kind of lower your expectations. So my recommendation would be, if you're in that early stages of the interview process and you get that question in terms of how much do I make at my last one, I would say, sorry, that information is confidential, just like your salary information is confidential. But if you want to have a conversation about the value that I'm providing to your company for this job, then I'd love to know what your expected salary range is for this position. And that's a good way to sort of deflect that question about what you made at your previous job, which is really kind of out there. So moving on to the tip I want to tell you today, which is the number one mistake, right, that people are making in terms of their resumes. And this is something that I see over and over and over again. All right, so imagine thousands and thousands of resumes come across your desk, right? Imagine you're hiring for a position, and all of these resumes, right, are really coming at it from the same point of view. They're trying to express someone's passion. They're trying to express someone's personality. They're trying to express why they want that job. And those things are all great, but if you think about it, that's all really from the point of view of a personality-driven resume. And when you're an employer, what you're looking for isn't personality. What you're looking for is value. If I'm an employer, right, and I want to hire someone, say I want to pay them 60 grand, 100 grand, the only reason that I'm going to, give them the job is if I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that if I'm paying someone 60, they're going to give me $100,000 worth of value. If I'm paying someone $100,000, they're going to give me $200,000 worth of value. But what the mistake a lot of people make on their resumes is they don't highlight the value that they're bringing to the table. They think that it's all about telling someone what they want, when really it should be about giving an employer what they're looking for. So how do we kind of change that, right? How do we alter that perception in our resumes to give employers that sense of, okay, this guy understands where we're coming from. He understands what we need, and he's a candidate that we should pursue. What I do when I work with someone is, let's say, as an example, right? Say I am working with someone who wants an HR director position. So they want to be an HR director. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a bunch of job postings for HR positions. So I'm going to look, and collect a short list, let's say, of 5 to 10 HR director positions that are absolutely perfect in terms of being a great fit for this client. And now that I've got this short list of job postings, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross-reference what's in the job postings with the qualifications that this person has. So, for example, I'm looking through all of these HR director postings, and I'm seeing a couple of common themes. For example, they want someone who is highly experienced at implementing HR policies and procedures. They want someone who's really, really excellent at onboarding staff, training staff. They're looking at someone who's really great at managing HR systems. So now that gives me a clue, right? Because that tells me that these are the things that employers really, really, really value. These are the things that they think are going to be absolutely critical in their candidate. So now that I know that, right, I have this short list, let's say 5 to 10 qualities that I've pulled from these job postings that are absolutely kind of in that wheelhouse. Now I'm going to look at my resume and I'm going to say, how can I make sure that these 5 to 10 in-demand skills are the core of this whole document? That way, when I send it out, instantly a company looks at that and says, oh my gosh, this is the person that we need, right? You're backtracking. Instead of creating a resume from scratch, you're backtracking from a point of view of what they want and then giving them what they want through your resume. So a couple of ways that you can do that, right? So you've got these in-demand skills. A few concrete tips. Number one, right at the start of your resume, create a summary section. So a lot of people make a mistake by using that space as like an objective. They'll say something like seeking this role or that. Don't do that. Instead, use that space to really drill into, let's say, the top 2 or 3 of those in-demand skills that you're really, really, really strong in. So if you're great at building teams, if you're great at using software or implementing policy, use that space to say that. Say, I'm a highly experienced, highly skilled HR director, for example, who can master and deliver really huge gains in these following 2 or 3 areas. Now you've sent a signal, right? That you're saying, boom, I'm going right to the heart of what you guys want. I know what you want, and I'm willing to give it. That's step number 1. So you got that 3 to 5 line summary section right at the beginning. So anyone who even just glances at your resume can look at that and say, that works. Right below that, what you want is a keyword section. So people get really stressed out about that, right? Because they're like, keywords, what if I send my resume out there? I don't have enough keywords. Keywords are actually a lot easier than you think, especially if you've got like a short list of 5 to 10 in-demand skills for the position that you want. You're already kind of ahead of the game. So you've got those skills. For the keyword section, the skills that you haven't broached in your opening summary section, you can use that there. So if it's like policy, procedure development, team building, stuff like that, you can use. And if you need to build it out more than what you have, here is a tip that I use all the time, okay? Go to LinkedIn, run an advanced search for people who have the job that you want. So again, using this example, I'm going to go to LinkedIn, do an advanced search for HR directors. You can search by someone's job title. You'll get a listing of the most visible people on LinkedIn who have this job. And then what you're going to do is, that's actually a good question, Alexandria. I would say, sentences, you would want to keep it brief. You don't want to keep it like so chopped up that someone can't, piece it together. Like you don't want it like broken up to a huge amount. But what I would recommend is, keeping it really brief. And when you're writing the sentences for a resume, what works really well, and this will really give you an edge, okay? Highlight the end result first and then describe how you did it. So, for example, right, say, as an example, I'm an IT guy and I, improved the efficiency of some application by 30% and through doing something like that. So what I would do is if I was writing that in my resume, I would say something like increased efficiency of so-and-so application 30% by, and then describe it very, very, very briefly, doing this, this, and this. So if you think about writing the resume in that way, that's definitely going to give you a big help, okay? So everything in the resume, highlight the result first, and then describe how it was done. That's a little weird because when we write, we don't really write like that. But for a resume, that really works like gangbusters because for a lot of people, recruiters, hiring agents, stuff like that, that's what they want to see. They want to see that result first, and then they're really more interested in how it was sort of given. So going back to the keyword section, if you're stuck on the keywords, go on LinkedIn, right? Do a search for people who have the job that you want, right? Do a title search and go to their skills and endorsements section, okay? That's about halfway down someone's profile. And this is the key for getting the keywords that you need in your resume, okay? Because if I want, for example, an HR director role, I pull up profiles of people who have that job, I go to their skills and endorsements section, now you're going to see all of the skills that they're being recommended for that tie in directly to their job. So you're going to get the shortlist right there. So pull from their skills and endorsement section, pull every skill that you have that you can conceivably sort of defend in an interview setting, put them into a core competencies or keyword section right near the start of your resume, and boom, you have just taken a major, major step in increasing the visibility of your resume. Because especially if you're coming in cold to a position, like say you're applying to a job posting, something like that, before your resume makes it into the hands of an HR person, which is the end goal, it's going to pass through these things called applicant tracking systems. And these systems are geared to filter someone's resume for the right keywords. So if you've done this work, right? You've gone to LinkedIn, for example, you've pulled up profiles of people who have the job that you want, you've gone to their skills and endorsement section, and you've integrated those keywords in your resume, you have magnified by a crazy amount how effective your chances are going to be in terms of passing that hurdle, getting into the hands of a living, breathing person, which is what you want, right? And making it to that next step. So, those keywords are critical. They are really, really, really going to help. And so now that you've done this, right? Let's say you've got that summary section, you've got that keyword section, boom, your resume is a lot stronger. The last thing that I would suggest, okay, is, with these in-demand skills that you've kind of collected from these job postings, use them as the theme of the rest of your resume, right? So for the professional experience section, a big mistake people make is, they'll describe, responsibilities that they had, right? They'll describe, daily things that they did, basically the nuts and bolts. But an employer's not really interested in the nuts and bolts. They want to know about results, and they all, again, want to know those in-demand skills, how were they, parlayed in your work history? So look through your work history, and every time, right, you come across an accomplishment or a challenge that bears, that ties into these in-demand skills, that's what you need to highlight first and foremost, okay? For every job, you need to go back to those 5 to 10 skills and hit it again. People think a lot of times that repetition is bad in a resume. That's not actually always true. Repeating stuff that's not relevant, that's not a good idea. But if you're repeating things that go to the heart of what makes you an amazing candidate, if you keep hitting those same points, right, that go towards establishing who you are as a really, really in-demand candidate, right, who is really skilled at the qualities that they're looking for, that is never, ever a bad thing. And if you can, add on to that with some, quantifiable accomplishments, it doesn't have to be metrics, but if it could be some kind of a result for each of these, some kind of a success that you can do, just routine work, that does happen. And what else I would say is it's true that for a lot of jobs, you're not going to be able to just, cut it down right into numbers. What I would suggest there, though, is taking a look at the work that you've done and thinking, if it's not like a quantifiable accomplishment, if it's not a result, there's still usually some kind of an end goal that you achieved, right? So, for example, even like the most nebulous thing, like say, when I start a job, I have a couple of people that report to me, and they're all kind of all over the place. They don't know what to do. They're all doing a bunch of different things. So say I take the time to create, let's say, just a vision for where we're going to go next. Right? I'm creating a plan, and I'm getting everyone together, and I'm saying, hey, from now on, right, these are the three major things that we're doing, and this is where we're going to go. Well, that's a kind of result, even though you can't, touch that down into a number to say, I established a cohesive culture for my team, or I got everyone on the same page and helped them do their job and increase the results. That's a great accomplishment. That's something real that people can use that can help you. So my suggestion would be that if you don't have those, quote unquote results, right? Still think in terms of how did I make a situation better from when I came in. And if you think of it in that terms, I think you'll start to get some ideas for things that you can include there. And again, just the fact that you made that effort to kind of show people that bottom line, that's a really confident move, because people spend a lot of time describing responsibilities and stuff like that. But someone who has the confidence to say, I'm really trying every day to make the situation better. I'm really trying to move something forward. That really, really, really makes a huge difference in terms of, the overall impact of, the resume and what you're putting out there. So I'm going to flip the camera around here because I've kind of written this down, and if you have a chance to take a screenshot, I would certainly recommend this, right? Here is kind of a breakdown of what I'm talking about in terms of, transforming your resume into something that's more from something that's personality driven to something that's really value driven. So step 1, collect 5 to 10 relevant job postings that you want to do. Step 2, identify the in-demand skills that are being called out in each of these. Make a list of that. Now go to your resume, create a 3 to 5 line summary paragraph right at the beginning that really highlights those in-demand skills and again makes it really, really clear that you're the best person for this job. After that, create a keyword section right below that and again, include those keywords that you're going to need so your resume is going to, pass that scanning by the applicant tracking systems. And again, if you need help with adding more keywords, go to LinkedIn, do an advanced search by title for people who have the job that you want right now. And that's really going to help by going to the skills and endorsements section. There's all the keywords that you need. Add those on. And then finally, use the in-demand skills as the theme of the rest of your resume. So that's going to be the ideas that you keep coming back to, the things that you're going to keep playing up on. And again, these all go towards communicating fit and communicating real value, towards employers. So this is really, I think, going to help big time in terms of increasing the amount of results that you see in terms of the interviews. If you want more tips, and this is my shameless plug time, but I hope this helps you. If you look at the bottom of this, whiteboard here, you're going to see a site called upgradeyourjob.com. If you go there right now, you can sign up for my private list, and what you're going to get immediately on signing up is a free 6-point checklist for landing a 6-figure job. So if you think that this was helpful, okay, I spent a while creating this checklist, and this is going to give you 6 of, the best strategies that I use with my executive clients each and every day to get them really interviewing at the highest level. If you are tired of, going, shooting off your resume and not hearing results, if you're tired of blasting your resume out there for jobs that you're not really an excellent fit for, if you want to know how to engage friends and family in the search in a way that's really positive and is going to get you results, if you're interested in getting past the gatekeepers at companies that you want to work with, even if you want to have a position specifically created for you at a company that is like on your dream list, you want to get your hands on this checklist. I promise you it's going to be a really, really, really big help to you, okay? So go to upgradeyourjob.com, all one word. Very simple. It's a 2-step sign-up process, completely free. No obligation. I just want to provide something that's going to help you get to that next level and going to really get you a better job, more money, giving you the things that you deserve. That is exactly what I'm about. I'll be back tomorrow with another tip that I think is going to help. And I really, really, really want to thank you guys again for taking the time to listen. I hope it's been helpful. And I wish you guys mucho success and have a great rest of the day. Thanks again. Thank you.